The title animation appears, showing the phrase, "T's, nuts, and bolts," on a bolt being screwed into a metal plate. The title of the video appears, "Additional Statements." The Mark Information page is shown with a box highlighting the additional statements explanation area.
Use the Additional Statements section to enter various statements that may pertain to your mark, such as a disclaimer or a translation. To reveal the full listing of these statements, click the provided box.
An arrow highlights the Additional Statements checkbox, the box is checked, and the Additional Statements section is revealed.
The list of additional statements will appear below. If you are filing a TEAS Plus application, you will notice that several of the statements are marked by a red asterisk.
The camera zooms in and shows examples of mandatory statements highlighted by arrows.
The asterisk means that you must complete the relevant statement if warranted by the facts in your case. If the statement is not relevant, you may leave it blank. Be aware, however, if you fail to enter a required additional statement, and the assigned examining attorney later determines that the facts in your case did warrant an entry, you will lose your TEAS Plus status. Your application will be transformed to a regular TEAS application, and you will have to pay an additional filing fee of $50 per international class. To avoid this, be sure to take your time and click on the title of each additional statement to learn more about the requirement and determine whether it applies to you.
The cursor clicks on a hyperlink, and information about that requirement is shown on screen. Then, a slow scroll of the Additional Statements section is shown.
Although it may be tempting to select every statement provided, don't do it. Additional statements are not commonly used and are for special circumstances that only exist in certain applications. If you enter a statement that does not apply to your application, you may delay the processing of your application. If in doubt, leave it out. If an additional statement is necessary, the assigned examining attorney will require it later in the process.
An example of a fill-in text field is shown.
If the facts in your application do warrant an additional statement, simply type the information into the provided field.
An example of a statement requiring a checkbox is shown.
If you need to include an additional statement that does not provide a box for typing an entry, simply check the relevant checkbox.
A close-up of the Miscellaneous Statements box is shown.
Be aware that the Miscellaneous Statement section should be used sparingly, if at all. Only use it if the information you're about to provide is absolutely necessary and no other designated portion of the form exists to enter the information. Once you finish entering any additional statements, click Continue.
Back to a close-up of the Additional Statements checkbox. The box is unchecked and the Additional Statements section disappears.
If you finish reviewing the Additional Statements section and determine that none of the statements apply to your application, uncheck the Additional Statements box and the statements will disappear. Any selections you made in the Additional Statements section will also disappear automatically. If you are finished with this section, click Continue to move on to the next section.
The USPTO official seal is shown.